Well, 2016 has been a big year for tech news, from the largest hacks to breakthrough devices, self-driving cars and phones catching on fire. Well, Mark New is in Silicon Valley with a look back on all the main stories and what to watch for in the coming year. Mark?
Rochelle, this was the year where smart devices really started to become almost ordinary devices. There were much more in play here. Everything from connected doorbells, smart thermostats, smart luggage, smart toothbrushes. People started to buy these things more and more, and it's becoming more common and ingrained in our society. And Rochelle, I'll bet that for the first time, many of our viewers out there actually started talking to their phones more and talking to other devices like Google Home or the hugely popular Amazon Echo. But along with steps forward also came steps backward, and my tech year in review begins with an unfortunate bang. The smartphone wars heated up dangerously this year for electronics giant Samsung. The tech giant was forced to recall and stop production of its Galaxy Note 7 after reports its batteries were exploding. That left the door open for Apple in the launch of the iPhone 7.
The world's most advanced mobile operating system deserves the most advanced smartphone.
But the flagship product got slammed on social media for what it didn't have, a headphone jack. Apple attempted to lay claim to a new category, wireless AirPods, which also ended up, for unknown reasons, being delayed.
It's been a pretty tough year for Apple. And, the concern moving forward with Apple is, what do they do beyond iPhones? Because I think everybody's realizing that regardless of what happens with iPhone 7 and even perhaps the next generation phone, the smartphone market is pretty much near its peak, if it hasn't already peaked. So what's the next big thing for Apple?
While some tech companies moved cautiously, this was the year that Chinese companies moved aggressively into the U.S. market. At a glitzy event in San Francisco, Leiko, known for being a streaming content provider in China, unveiled its Le Pro smartphone, new HD TVs, virtual reality goggles, and a laser sensor smart bike. Billionaire founder Zhao Yueting topped it all off by unveiling the Le C electric car.
It is a very optimistic vision, because when you want to be that ecosystem provider, you have to have all of your hardware as well as your content embraced by the consumer. That's not a short-term strategy. That's a 5-10-year kind of strategy.
Leiko was just one of the numerous companies that invested heavily in virtual reality in 2016. Startups and investors saw it as an open frontier, while Microsoft revealed stunning details of its futuristic HoloLens holographic headset project. Companies like Oculus, HTC, and Sony hit the market with high-end VR goggles.
Certainly, the predictions were that it would sell millions of units in 2016, and that didn't happen. In a lot of ways, you could argue that virtual reality didn't live up to expectations for 2016, but a lot of those same people and analysts and optimists still believe that by 2020 it's going to be a huge market.
Facebook owns one of those VR headset makers, Oculus, and so far sales have been somewhat disappointing. But one Facebook feature that has really taken off is Facebook Live. It allows you to pick up your phone, tap a button, and broadcast pretty much any activity you want in real time. Despite constant concerns over artificial intelligence becoming too intelligent, AI continues to be tech's hottest space. AI is helping to fuel everything from self-driving cars to even toys like Cosmo, which learns its surroundings, including who it's playing with. As tech gets smarter and smarter, anxiety is building over what will happen to human jobs, especially when Amazon introduced a concept grocery store with no lines, but also no cashiers or clerks.
What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store, so you never have to wait in line?
And I visited Zoom Pizza, where robots are taking and making an increasing share of the pie.
We're not eliminating jobs. We're eliminating routine and repetitive tasks. And as a matter of fact, everyone in the company we're committed to for the long term. So we already have examples of people who've come from our kitchen who are training to be software engineers.
A redistribution of job functions is how the tech world views it. While labor groups dispute that vision, it's clear that in the not-too-distant future, both our workplace and our colleagues may look radically different. And one more tech story that's been grabbing headlines is fake news, courtesy of social network giant Facebook. Facebook has been under heavy criticism for putting up a lot of stories that people consider fake. They've actually been criticized as to possibly swaying the election because of those fake news stories. Facebook has denied this repeatedly, but they did enlist a third-party fact-checker to look at flagged stories from now on. And during a live Facebook chat yesterday, founder Mark Zuckerberg admitted they were actually more than a media company and did feel responsible for how their platform is used. Rochelle.
Well, fake news certainly seems like a problem created or at least fueled by tech that's going to continue to grab headlines. Are there any other developing tech stories that we should really keep an eye on heading into 2017?
Well, one that we should really keep an eye on is Uber. They continue to make news. They're famous for sort of blurring the lines of what's legal and not legal in a way that's famous here for calling it disrupting a market. Uber has added again, it planned to test its self-driving vehicles in California. They were told by the DMV that they needed to apply for permits like everybody else. They said that there was a human driver present, so technically they didn't need to apply for a permit. Regulators actually moved in to regulate and stop them. They decided to pull their cars and say they will look for other markets and other possibilities to test their cars. So that's surely a story that's going to continue through 2017. Rochelle.
Indeed. Thank you, Mark. You there for us live from Silicon Valley.